Dude, the rear end just constantly stepping out. I love it. 2024 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing, one of the last sports sedans that has a supercharged V8 with a manual transmission. And I've heard great things about the car, but I want to tell you today exactly how it drives and if it's worth the money. We're powered by the LT4 engine. That's a 6.2 liter supercharged pushrod V8 making 668 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, 659 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM, made it to, of course, a 6-speed manual transmission with a 6,600 RPM redline. You can either go with a 6-speed manual or a 10-speed auto, but of course, as we're losing manuals, you want to go for that added engagement, and you also save about 50 pounds by doing so. This is actually the same engine, by the way, from the C7 Z06 and the Camaro ZL1. Now we have strut front multi-link rear suspension with magnetic ride control 4.0. So that's the newest generation of MagneRide. We have electric power steering, and as standard, we have Brembo front and rear brakes. Carbon ceramic brakes is a $9,000 option. We have ELSD, MagRide suspension, 19-inch wheels with 275 section width front, 305 in the rear, PS4S, which is going to be helpful today because the road is a bit damp and gravelly. Now keep in mind, this one does not have the carbon ceramic brakes. We're weighing in right around 4,100 pounds with a 54 to 46 front to rear weight distribution. MSRP, at least base starting price, is $93,000. This exact example is optioned to $122,000 because we have the sky cool gray interior with jet black accents, full leather seats with quilting and carbon seat backs, carbon fiber packages, performance data recorder, 19-inch bronze wheels, sunroof, and the exterior in coastal blue metallic. In terms of mods, it's actually stock except for a GM track alignment and Corsa exhaust. And styling-wise, I think this looks the piece. You guys let me know what you think, especially in this blue. I think it's actually quite the looker. Good proportions for a sedan. You have these nice, modern, angular design elements. And those bronze wheels with the blue, just, perfection. And I also like blue exterior with lighter interiors. I think they also pair quite nicely. Now we're actually going to keep the sunroof tilted open, so that way we don't get wind noise, but you can hear the exhaust note a little bit more. And in terms of the interior, I mean, not the most modern, cutting edge, most impressive at the price point, but I mean, it gets the job done, right? With the upgrades here, we have really nice soft leather, carbon fiber. Does this look a little bit dated? Yeah, I'd argue so, but I mean, that's not what this car is about. It's about the driving experience. In terms of driver position, as for a sedan, actually not bad. I'm sitting pretty down low. The steering wheel telescopes quite a bit. It is power adjustable, tilt and telescope, and seats are nice and comfy. We hit this V button here to get to V mode, and now we can actually edit. So we're gonna have suspension soft, steering soft, engine shift. So I understand the throttle response, but I'm guessing, I don't know what the shift would do. I guess it does have rev match. And we'll actually start with everything quite soft, except engine noise will keep up, and we'll start playing around from there. So with the gear in the yellow color, it means we have auto rev match enabled. Whoa, all right, already traction limited, let's go. Wow, really nice shifter feel. All right, so, I mean, auto rev match nowadays is usually pretty smooth. I'm not gonna say this is the smoothest example I've ever driven, but honestly, if you're getting a manual transmission, please just rev match your own downshifts. So we're gonna press that button again. There we go. Now it is off. As you can see that it's white. Oh my God, the power on this thing is nuts, dude. All right, so steering quite light in this mode. Suspension, we're a little bit floaty. Let's start dialing things up. Let's go to the middle setting. Sport, as well as brake feel. And I love that with MagneRide, you can instantly feel a difference. They have quite a large magnitude shift. Nice natural throttle response when we're heel towing our own downshifts. Dude, you can feel the rear end wanting to come around. This is so dynamic, I love it. All the power to the rear wheels with that LSD. and making a more than healthy amount of horsepower and torque given the car's weight. I mean, it wants to play, it wants to dance, and I love cars that are like this, that give you a little bit of slipping, a little bit of rotation. Even if you don't have to countersteer, you just get just that little bit of hit, you can just dance with it right at that edge. Adds so much more to the driving experience. Steering is actually not bad at all. You have a little bit of road texture. In terms of load up so far, we haven't actually gone to lower speed corners, but the load up seems to be a little bit lacking. But what happens if we dial it up? Make it even heavier. Now let's get the suspension up as well. Engine shift, brake feel. And we'll do PTM to dry. Yeah, much more buttoned down now. Now this is brake-by-wire, and I actually do like this more in track mode because you're getting, you know, a change in the tuning of that brake-by-wire system as you go through the modes. And track, you have that heavier steering, that brake pedal that, you know, still doesn't feel totally natural, but I think GM is doing a better and better job with each revision to make it feel closer and closer to the real thing. Yeah, nice shifter actuation here. It's like crisp between gates and very clean, but not overly notchy. It has a nice slick feel to it too. As if it had a, I'm not sure what the weight of this knob is, but it feels like it would be a heavier shift knob that slides between gates with that slickness while still having that, you know, crispness between gates that you want. Clear delineation. And so much low down torque, man. So much torque, even at 2,000-3,000 RPM. Get this thing to redline. The performance limits of this are just so high that on a damp road with gravel that's a little bit tighter, and thank you Cadillac for giving us supercharged, not turbo. You get that sound still, and more importantly, you still get that immediacy to the throttle response. It's not sluggish or laggy at all. It just behaves like a naturally aspirated engine in that regard. Yeah, so steering is good. A little bit of feedback, I mean, so much better than something like a modern BMW M car. Not teeming with feedback though, which, I mean, this is a sedan anyways. It's not going to be quite as feelsome as a dedicated sports car, because this you want to be able to enjoy day to day as well. And I think from where I'm sitting right now, this would be a ton of fun as a daily. Dude, the rear end is constantly stepping out. I love it. I love it. See, the guys at GM, they have a sense of humor. They know how to have fun. They're not all, you know, the Porsche GTS in front of us, the 992.2, which review coming out soon if it's not already, linked below. If the German philosophy is more serious, I feel like the Americans, at least, you know, GM, Cadillac, they want to have fun. They want to get the tail out. They want you to really hear that engine note, that V8 rumble. If the German recipe is something for precision and pursuing what perfection is, which is, I guess, is debatable, then this Cadillac is the vehicle that is like, hey, let's just grow some hair on your chest kind of thing. And let's give you another pull. So just given the weight, and you know, MagneRide is a beautiful technology, but even still in the stiffest mode, you have to keep in mind this is still ultimately a sports saloon. You're not going for a track weapon sports car here, so it's still actually decently compliant, and not harsh on these roads, but you do get a little bit more body motion than you may otherwise want. But I wouldn't really hold it against this car given what it is. I think it does a great job. You just don't have that, like, when you get into the brakes and you start actually modulating a bit, there's almost like a bit of, you can have a small change in your own modulation of the pedal, but you don't feel that in the car. It's almost like the car is approximating your brakes and not giving you a precise one-to-one, because again, it is brake-by-wire. And I'm not sure how much that would change here in sport. Yeah, same problem. Driving it harder, you want to have it in track mode. More of that immediacy and sportier feel that feels a little bit more congruent, especially if you're going to weight up. Like, there's this idea of congruence across the inputs, right? So if the steering is now heavier in track mode, then you want the pedals to match as well. And the nice thing about brake-by-wire is that you can actually tune the brake feel, but I think that we're still maybe a generation or two away from this really feeling just as good as proper hydraulic brakes that aren't brake-by-wire. Little double clutch there in a second, very natural throttle response, no learning curve. Let's give you one more pull. God, this thing is so traction limited. It is hilarious. I mean, when it comes down to it, when you're looking for a sports sedan, I think that Cadillac has really knocked it out of the park. You look at something like the BMW M3, you have also a very high performance ceiling. Both of these cars, the M3 and the CT5-V Blackwing, more performance than you actually need for the road, but you know, in dry conditions you can probably enjoy it more so than I am right now. Although right now I still am enjoying it quite a bit and it is hilarious. But when it comes to the actual driving experience, I don't think, you know, IS500, BMW M3, this just is so much better than the rest. The M3 is very impressive in terms of engineering and stats and overall performance, but I don't want just speed. When I'm going for a driving experience from a sports sedan, I want to, of course, be comfortable driving, you know, daily driving to and from work, etc., etc., but I also want to feel something. And here, with the engine notes, with the communication through the chassis, with the way that they have set up the car, the character where it's more fun, doesn't take itself so seriously, it's not all about let's optimize for performance, it says, hey, let's have fun while we go really fast. This is simply the best driving sports sedan that I have driven, especially in modern day. Now, the downside, which I think is a pretty small downside if you are watching this channel and you are a driving enthusiast more so than, you know, an interior enthusiast or other types of flex car enthusiasts, is just that the interior is dated. Yeah, it's not the nicest interior. I like that the owner spec'd this out to have some nicer materials, but I don't know, I would be happily willing to overlook that for this. So good, man, so good. So it's safe to say that I'm definitely a fan of the CT5-V Blackwing. I think for $100,000, you are not getting a better driving sports sedan. Of course, if you really care about things like the, you know, brake feel, then there's a bit of a compromise here. And the interior, of course, obviously, as you can see. But I think they hit all the things that matter most to car enthusiasts, especially in this day and age, as we're getting more hybrids and EVs and turbos, etc. We have a supercharged V8 that gives you that nice low down torque for daily driving, but still rewards you to rev it out to its 6,500 RPM redline. You have good steering, you know, not chattering away with feedback, but for what this car is, I think really, truly strong steering. A large dynamic shift in terms of suspension, so you can have a very comfortable ride or a more sporty dynamic ride without it being overly punishing or overly wallowy. I'm just really impressed. Big shout out to the owner, Johan, for letting me review his CT5-V Blackwing. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jubbalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.